After the fight, Shakur Stevenson got in the ring, and he and O'Shaki, who has called Shakur out on this very show, among other places, jawed at each other for everyone to hear. Later, O'Shaki talked about what happened. Check it out. You think, even though Shakur is perceived as significantly better than O'Shaki, that O'Shaki's style presents Shakur problems, or no?
Honestly, from what I noticed from the fight with Ford, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they have a good talk, good back and forth exchange. It's good for the sport of boxing, good hype, but 10-pound difference. I think that both guys need to focus on what's in their path and what's in their time frame when it comes to their weight divisions, rather than trying to stir up a pot that is not going to be.
Agreed.
I think we're going to look for a big fight, stuff like that, but I mean, I think Shaq deserves it, bro. I shared the ring with Shaq before Shaq got up. I feel Shaq is real good, and I mean, I want to see it. It'll be great.
With excitement continuing to grow for the potential showdown between Shakur Stevenson and O'Shaki Foster, Max Kellerman has weighed in on the situation as tensions between the two fighters continue to escalate. Kellerman shared his thoughts on the latest confrontation, examining the intense exchange that has added even more fuel to an already developing rivalry between Stevenson and Foster.
A guy like Shakur Stevenson, who's a southpaw, super hard to hit, right, is not always everyone's biggest payday, does not get shouted out. I'm hearing everyone shouting out Shakur right now.
Coach Breadman Edwards believes Shakur Stevenson holds a clear advantage over O'Shaki Foster, pointing to Stevenson's superior size and overall ability inside the ring. According to Edwards, a jump to a higher weight class would present significant obstacles for Foster. He also places Stevenson among boxing's top-tier talents and maintains that fighters should establish complete dominance in their current division before pursuing challenges in a new one.
Look at their boxing. Shakur is a bigger man than O'Shaki Foster. I know Shakur started at 126, but he's bigger than he is. And Shakur is a little more talented than O'Shaki. I'm not saying O'Shaki can't beat him. I don't want to do that, after this great victory that he has, but that's a tough fight to move up 10 pounds and fight a dude that's bigger than you and a little bit more and more talented. You know what I'm saying? That's tough. Shakur Stevenson might be the best fighter in the world. You know what I mean? He's that good. If I was O'Shaki Foster, I would fight Navarrete, but he's a gun. I'm sure he wants to fight Shakur. Maybe they got some kind of history. Who am I to say? But I think that I would clear out the division that I'm in and before I jump 2 weight classes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not meant to jump weight classes like that. I think it's overrated anyway.
Coach Stephen Edwards characterized O'Shaki Foster as a rugged and physically powerful competitor whose effectiveness comes from sustained offense rather than one-punch finishing ability. He noted that Foster gradually breaks opponents down by maintaining pressure and repeatedly landing damaging shots throughout a fight, making him especially effective during extended battles. Even with that assessment, Edwards still favored Shakur Stevenson in a head-to-head contest, while emphasizing that Foster possesses the tools to create serious challenges for anyone he faces.
Max a puncher. I think he's very, very physically strong, and he has like them hard hands. Some guys got like explosive hands where they hit you and they put you to sleep, and then some guys got kind of hard hands where they don't have the highest KO percentages, but when they hit you, you feeling it, and they like beating you up, and they let you know like you don't want to keep taking this all night. I think he has those kind of hands. I looked at Scooter's face, and he was like discouraging him. He was like busting them up a little bit. I would not favor O'Shaki Foster against Shakur, but I'm not going to disrespect O'Shaki Foster and say he can't win.
Joining the conversation, Floyd Schofield Jr. expressed little enthusiasm for a potential matchup between Shakur Stevenson and O'Shaki Foster. He suggested that Stevenson has a tendency to target opponents who are naturally smaller in size. Schofield also remarked that this approach is consistent with what he views as Stevenson's typical method of selecting and handling matchups throughout his career.
Not really. I mean, I know Shakur want to fight somebody smaller than him. Nothing wrong with that. That's the Shakur magic. That's like how a lot of people do it these days and times.
Expanding on the matchup discussion, Teddy Atlas stressed that the outcome of any fight is often determined by how the fighters' styles interact. He portrayed O'Shaquie Foster as a highly adaptable competitor capable of adjusting his approach, whether that means boxing from the outside, applying pressure, or operating effectively at different distances. Atlas also pointed to Foster's strong sense of timing and sharp punch placement. In particular, he noted that Foster does some of his best work at long range, where his accurate and well-measured shots can have the greatest impact.
Make fights. I think that's part of it. Foster's the kind of guy, he could be a straight-up boxer. He'll look to press, he'll look to go into. He's a well-rounded fighter. He can fight inside, outside, but he's predisposed a little bit to fighting well or maybe better on the outside, where he throws everything nice. You know, he's a sharpshooter. He throws nice, straight, short punches, concise punches, accurate punches. He's got that kind of style. He doesn't waste anything.
Further weighing in on the topic, Teddy Atlas portrayed O'Shaquie Foster as a fundamentally sound boxer whose success is built on precision, patience, and tactical execution rather than high punch output. He pointed to Foster's composed demeanor during inside fighting situations, noting how he remains controlled under pressure while choosing his shots carefully. Atlas also praised Foster's ability to mix attacks to the head and body with excellent timing, describing him as a thoughtful and methodical fighter who approaches every exchange with purpose.
He's a good, solid, technically, based fighter. Again, everything by the book. Doesn't do anything really where he gets sloppy. He does everything pretty. Even when he gets inside, when he does go inside, he's not throwing a million punches, but he's throwing the right punches. He'll throw the uppercut. He'll try to put a hook with it. He'll go to the body. He'll place shots. He'll throw educated punches.
Offering his take on the matchup, Bruce Carrington sided with Shakur Stevenson in a potential clash with O'Shaquie Foster. He cited Stevenson's defensive mastery, physical advantages, and ability to dictate the pace and direction of a fight as key factors in his assessment. Carrington acknowledged that Foster's determination, along with the experience gained from previous sparring sessions, could allow him to have moments of success throughout the contest. Even so, he viewed Stevenson as the stronger pick and expected him to emerge victorious if the two were to meet in the ring.
I think Shakur kind of got him on that one, honestly. And I like O'Shaquie, man. I like O'Shaquie, but I do think that Shakur, he is just... I don't think O'Shaquie's, defensively aware enough to... give Shakur too much trouble. Shakur, he's just on a cruise control now when it comes to the guys that he's been fighting. And on top of that, he's way bigger than O'Shaquie, bro. I did not think he was that much bigger than him. He stepped in the ring. I was like, oh, snap. That was crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't think Shakur is going to lose that fight. I think O'Shaquie, he's being very ambitious in this fight. And I also think that in the sparring that they had, he might have found certain things in those sparring that's gonna make the fight interesting. I think so, but it's been a long time since they sparred.
Offering his take on the matchup, Bruce Carrington sided with Shakur Stevenson in a potential clash with O'Shaquie Foster. He cited Stevenson's defensive mastery, physical advantages, and ability to dictate the pace and direction of a fight as key factors in his assessment. Carrington acknowledged that Foster's determination, along with the experience gained from previous sparring sessions, could allow him to have moments of success throughout the contest. Even so, he viewed Stevenson as the stronger pick and expected him to emerge victorious if the two were to meet in the ring.
I can't see O'Shaquie winning that fight as of right now.
They're two chess masters, right? Shaq can play chess extremely well too.
He can.
Is that just... You're not going to out Shakur though? At that game?
Yeah, he's probably the most patient guy that I've ever seen in the ring. And then a lot of his moves are calculated. All of his moves, I feel are calculated. I think, Shakur just doesn't have devastating power, but if he did, he would be the full package. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the only thing that he might be lacking in terms of this, because he's decent fighting it inside, very well fighting mid-range, and has long distance as well too. His distance control is great. Yeah, man, I just don't see in this matchup him having much trouble.
Along the same lines, Bernie the boxer emphasized that Shakur Stevenson operates on a level well above the ordinary, crediting him for his exceptional ring awareness and refined technical abilities. At the same time, he noted that Stevenson is not known as a devastating one-punch finisher. According to Bernie, Stevenson's greatest asset is his defensive expertise. He explained that Stevenson consistently forces opponents to miss, making it incredibly challenging for them to connect with clean and effective shots throughout a fight. In the end, Bernie acknowledged that a matchup with O'Shaquie Foster could be closely contested in certain moments, but he believed Stevenson's superior command of the ring and overall boxing skill would make him an extremely difficult fighter to overcome.
Is not your average fighter. He's a great fighter, you know.
Definitely not your average fighter. Definitely not a Crawford though.
Not a Crawford?
Come on, man. Look at the KO ratio.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. The IQ, the level of boxing ability and skill that he has, that he uses.
Okay.
Shaq a good fighter. Shaq a good fighter.
You said every way. So I had to throw it in there. Sorry.
No. We know he's not a knockout puncher. We know that.
But IQ, they match up, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know, far as like you ain't gonna beat him. That's what I'm saying. This guy you ain't gonna beat him. Good fight though. If I'm shocked, you know what I'm saying? I just don't see how you gonna beat him. You can't hit him.
You don't see nothing.
You can't hit him.
Swinging that air.
You can't.
Offering another viewpoint, Sean Zittel suggested that dedicated boxing followers would likely appreciate a matchup between Shakur Stevenson and O'Shaquie Foster because of the strategic elements both fighters bring to the ring. While he considered Stevenson the clear frontrunner, he still saw plenty of appeal in the contest itself. Zittel noted that the fight would feature two highly intelligent boxers known for their calculated approaches, creating the potential for a technical and methodical battle. He also pointed out that the growing anticipation and tension surrounding the matchup make it even more compelling, particularly as it would challenge Stevenson against another accomplished tactician.
We'll watch the fight and watch that chess play out between two chess masters. Shakur would be the favorite in that fight, I think, for sure, and I would favor him. But it is an interesting fight. It is. And it'd be interesting to see Shakur have to play chess with someone who's a chess master too. And all the animosity and build-up. Before you tell me exactly why it won't happen, though, want to give props to O'Shaquie Foster.
Providing his perspective on the situation, Radio Raheem suggested that Shakur Stevenson views O'Shaquie Foster as an opponent he believes he can overcome without major difficulty, comparing the challenge to something already familiar from previous sparring experiences. Raheem also stated that Stevenson appeared annoyed by continued discussions connecting his name to Foster, especially after earlier expectations surrounding a possible fight. While he noted that the matchup has not generated overwhelming public demand, he maintained that Stevenson holds a clear advantage and remains the superior fighter in his view.
We're going to keep with the way they were talking. One of his little... He sees this as like a sparring partner he gave some work to. He sees him as the kind of guy he can tell to go fight somebody else, another one of his juniors, another one of his little ends, that he won't get past. And it's not in the fact that you're even talking about him in the breath with me is what he was mad about. The fact that the kid's got some point that you did promise him a fight if he got through this hurdle, and he actually went over there, fought the guy, and got through the hurdle. He called your bluff. Yeah. And like I say, you know you ain't doing it. No, the money won't be there for that fight. Yes, I'd love to see it. Be interesting. I mean, but am I dying to see it? No, I'm not dying to see that fight. And I think in a way, Shakur, not even in a way, I think Shakur is right. Like, he is better than Foster. Foster maybe can get better. I don't know if he can get that good, though.
Providing his perspective on the situation, Radio Raheem suggested that Shakur Stevenson views O'Shaquie Foster as an opponent he believes he can overcome without major difficulty, comparing the challenge to something already familiar from previous sparring experiences. Raheem also stated that Stevenson appeared annoyed by continued discussions connecting his name to Foster, especially after earlier expectations surrounding a possible fight. While he noted that the matchup has not generated overwhelming public demand, he maintained that Stevenson holds a clear advantage and remains the superior fighter in his view.
I don't know, it's going to be very difficult to be smaller than Shakur and coming up and beating him. Because you got to put some kind of just that dense body weight and just physical strength on him to just complete. If it's really hard to outbox him. So Oshaki Foster could box his ass off, but I don't know if he could box at the level of being able to outbox Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? So that's a different level of boxing.
Ryan Garcia has also expressed interest in facing Shakur Stevenson, stating that he would be open to making the fight happen if both sides can reach an agreement during the negotiation process.
Turn down a fight for $100 million?
Yeah, I actually would. I do respect that in him. I think that he just knows it's his time to call it. I will say, though, his competitive nature, that might bring him back. If he sees me running this up, he might want to try to challenge the young bull. I ain't gonna lie. And we waiting for you.
Shakur Stevenson has shown interest in a potential clash with Ryan Garcia as well. While questioning Garcia's reliability at times, he emphasized that he would welcome the opportunity to share the ring with him. Stevenson also stated that he feels fully prepared for the challenge and is confident in his ability to handle whatever style or approach Garcia brings into the bout.
Ryan Garcia is somebody that comes in there, you never know which version of him is going to show up. So if the good version of him show up, he gets spanked. If the bad version of him show up, he gets spanked. He don't stand a chance.
Stevenson also pointed to what he believes is a noticeable gap in skill level between himself and the other fighter. He singled out his defensive approach as one of the biggest reasons for that confidence, noting that he is comfortable operating at his preferred distance while limiting his opponent's chances to land effective punches. According to Stevenson, that ability remains one of the strongest elements of his game.
Good, but Ryan Garcia got to understand one thing that's very important. I'm not Devin Haney. I'm not Devin Haney.
How are you different than Devin Haney?
With all due respect to Devin Haney, he got his game, but my game is at a higher level. My defense is way better. I could stand there in front of guys and defend myself.
At the same time, Ryan Garcia challenged the claim that Shakur Stevenson stands above everyone else in the sport. He acknowledged Stevenson's success inside the ring, but argued that his performances lack the kind of dominance usually associated with boxing's most exceptional and feared competitors.
I really wanted to fight Shakur bad. I just don't like those people that think they're like, you're not the best, bro. You're not even showing that you're that like that in the ring. Like, it's one thing to win a fight, it's another thing to show, all right, I'm like that. And he's out here saying, oh, I'm the best. Like, bro, you're not the best fighter, bro. There's a lot of guys that are monsters, bro. You're not a monster. But I feel like you're like a puppy.
Robert Garcia also shared his thoughts on how a fight between Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson could unfold. In his view, Ryan would enter the matchup with advantages in hand speed and knockout potential. He noted that Garcia's best path to victory would likely involve maintaining an aggressive tempo and pursuing a finish, since leaving the outcome in the judge's hands might not work in his favor. For Stevenson, Garcia suggested a strategy centered on managing range, using an effective jab, and capitalizing on counterattacking opportunities to disrupt Ryan's offense and limit his momentum. When weighing both sides, he ultimately leaned toward Ryan Garcia as the fighter he would slightly favor to come out on top.
How do you think the fight will go with Ryan and Shakur?
Interesting. Shakur's talented, technical. I think Ryan's probably faster, bro. And look, man, I could take that back. Maybe they're probably the same when it comes to fast. But I know Ryan has a lot more power. Ryan hits a lot harder than Shakur. So right there, any punch.
Devin Haney all over again?
Could be. Never know. I don't know, but you can't count Shakur because Shakur's talented. Talented, but it's still an interesting fight. I would like to see it.
If Ryan were to fight him and it became concrete, what would he need to do to win that fight?
Just press and try to win by knockout. Because I don't think he'll win a decision, but try to win by knockout. And he has the power to knock him out.
What do you think Shakur needs to do if he had a chance?
Just fight the way he fights, smart. Keep him on the outside. Just use the long jab and counter punch and speed. Don't try to get in there and exchange, because if he tries to exchange, he'll get hurt and get knocked out.
If you could pick who wins that fight, who wins that fight? If you had to choose.
I can't go against Ryan anymore, so I'll pick Ryan. Plus, he's from Southern California.
Sergio Mora offered a different perspective when comparing Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson. He noted that Garcia does not rely heavily on movement, whereas Stevenson stands out for his quickness and ability to avoid danger. Mora also pointed to Stevenson's ring experience and defensive expertise as major strengths, portraying him as a technically polished competitor who carries confidence and continues to build momentum with each performance.
Ryan Garcia is flat-footed. Shakur Stevenson is a cheetah in and out, man. I mean, he's been so successful from the Olympics to moving up in weight divisions. Power's not going to be enough for him. And if you're not going to be a volume puncher, like Ryan Garcia clearly is not a volume puncher, then how are you going to beat Shakur Stevenson? How are you going to be able to compete with that in-and-out southpaw style where he doesn't engage with you? The timing, the confidence, the momentum. Shakur is cut from the cloth of Floyd Mayweather Jr., Andre Ward, and these greats that don't get touched, they don't get hit. The defensive geniuses, Pernell Whitaker. I mean, these are big names, but Shakur's cut from that cloth, man. He's special.
At the same time, Adalapo stated that a showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis should take place in the 135-pound division. In his view, it stands as boxing's most eagerly awaited contest, a matchup supporters of the sport have been hoping to witness for several years.
Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis has to happen at 135. Like, Shakur going to 140, for me, is almost because he can't get the fights he wants at 135. The fight he wants is Tank Davis. He wants to fight Tank. And I'm telling you now, for American boxing, there might not be anything bigger. Shakur versus Tank is mad. Like, Shakur versus Teo is good, but for the culture, Shakur versus Tank is the fight everyone wants to see. It's a fight we wanted to see for a long time now. I'd say about 3 or 4 years. Not Shakur versus Devon or Tank versus Devon or... No, Shakur versus Tank is what everyone wants to see.
At the same time, Adalapo stated that a showdown between Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Davis should take place in the 135-pound division. In his view, it stands as boxing's most eagerly awaited contest, a matchup supporters of the sport have been hoping to witness for several years.
Is any version of Ryan Garcia even the best version competitive with Shakur Stevenson?
Competitive with Shakur? I don't know. Shakur has really good defense, man. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of sets him apart from a lot of guys. You know what I'm saying? So that's that call I can't really make. You know what I'm saying? I think they're both like great in their own rights.
Ryan Garcia's sparring partner also spoke about the challenges Shakur Stevenson presents, emphasizing that his punches have noticeable effectiveness and that his defensive success comes from exceptional timing and ring management rather than simply staying out of range. He further explained that Stevenson's accuracy makes opponents think twice before engaging, forcing them to remain alert and measured throughout every exchange.
You know, so Shakur does have power. It hurt. I could feel his punches. It hurt a little bit. It was something to be cautious against, you know. So Shakur does not have pillow hands. He's defensive because he's defensive. He doesn't like to get hit. He likes to get hit, you know.
Was he that hard?
Expanding on his analysis, Okoye pointed to Ryan Garcia's left hook as the standout weapon in his arsenal, describing it as one of the most threatening punches in the sport. Even so, he noted that such a weapon alone would not be enough to overcome Shakur Stevenson unless it is delivered with the right setup and disguised effectively. He went on to explain that Stevenson's exceptional defensive skills and ability to manage range would significantly reduce Garcia's opportunities to land cleanly, making a knockout shot his most realistic route to victory. With that, the discussion comes to a close as excitement continues to grow over the possibility of this highly anticipated matchup becoming a reality.
Wins it easy. The thing that I do like in Ryan's favor is
you know, like I said, it's only a few guys that got special punches, you know what I mean, where it's like, it's that good. And his left hook is really that. But you just can't go into a fight against Shakur with one weapon without learning how to hide it, set it up, or deliver it, and think you're going to win. So I don't think he got really anything other than a puncher's chance against Shakur. And that's a hell of a shot because you got to hit one of the best judges of distance and defense in the game right now. So, I mean, I don't think he has a shot.
As supporters and boxing observers continue to disagree on how their styles would interact in a potential matchup, discussions surrounding hand speed, defensive ability, punching power, and overall ring awareness remain at the center of the debate. For now, with no official announcement in place, the ongoing predictions and differing opinions continue to fuel excitement around a contest that remains among the most widely discussed potential fights in the sport.